whole lot of loving is what we'll be bringing. We'll make you happy.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Schools with Heart. I'm Olivia LaField's and I am so excited to share a story today that can definitely help you create the social emotional classroom of your dreams. But first, a couple things before we get started today. If you haven't already watched the first 3 videos, be sure to go back. The progression of my videos is very sequential. Each new video builds on the previous episodes. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Remember that I am no way associated with any political agenda, nor do I promote any district, county, or state curriculum. I am simply a 48-year public school veteran on a glorious mission to launch a social emotional learning movement that will sweep across America and transform the lives of thousands of children. So with that out of the way, let's dive right in to one of my very best stories. A story that will hopefully inspire you to the extent that you will apply it to your own classroom until your final bell. It's that good. My story took place in 2010 on a scorching hot summer day, and when I say scorching, I mean well over 100 degrees, and I was digging in my garden on my hands and knees with my head close to the ground as rivers of sweat suddenly began to pour off the tip of my nose. Astonished by the realization that I had never sweat like that before in my entire life, I suddenly, without a moment's forethought, bolted to my feet and shouted out at the top of my lungs, "I am the Little Red Hen!" And then I just stood there, surprised at what had just happened, and looking around to see if anyone was watching. Who in the world is the Little Red Hen? I asked myself. Although the answer completely escaped me, I knew instinctively that something very important had just happened. That night, I went to my computer and Googled the Little Red Hen. As I sat reading the story online, I was transported back in time and saw myself at 3 years of age sitting on my mother's lap as she read me the story. Instantly, the recollection of the dog, the cat, and the mouse returned to me. Before I even came to the end of the story, I remembered that the Little Red Hen had made a cake with the wheat she had found, and that she wouldn't let the others eat it because they hadn't helped. Surprisingly, I remember the theme of the story. If you don't do the work, you won't get to eat the cake. Try to imagine the memory of me on my mother's lap. It touched me to my very soul. My mother had died when I was only 25, and the image recreated an intense feeling of the close bond that we had shared all my life. It was for all purposes, literally heaven sent. As I mused over the story, I realized that my mother's love had planted the story in my brain all those years ago, and seemingly out of the blue, the memory had resurfaced that day. Like a flash of lightning, it hit me. I would use the story of the Little Red Hen to inspire my students to work hard. I couldn't wait to get started on how I would incorporate the theme into my classroom. Because it was summertime, I had weeks to work on ideas. By the time school started in the fall, I was on fire with excitement. It didn't matter to me that the Little Red Hen was a children's story and that my students were 7th graders. I just knew in my spirit that they would connect with that story. Committed to creating a powerful first impression, on the first day of school, my room was red from floor to ceiling. As my new 7th graders entered the room, they were greeted with 20 red helium balloons dancing from the ceiling. I reproduced at least 100 clip art chickens, which I colored red and stapled all over the walls. But the biggest impression, no doubt, was that of their new teacher. At Penny's that summer, I had bought the perfect red dress, red earrings, and red shoes. And of course, I painted my fingernails bright red. I remember vividly my first planned words to my class that year. "Good morning, class. I'm Miss LaField, and I am the Little Red Hen." And then, before I even took roll, I read the story. I wasn't concerned in the least that my students might harshly judge my unconventional antics. My single primary concern was to convey my point in a way they would never forget. In this class, we will work hard. That very first day, I announced that every Friday, someone who worked really hard would get a real cake to either take home and share with their family or eat at school during lunchtime with several friends. I bought red plastic tablecloths, red napkins, red forks, and every Friday we had a Little Red Hen party in our room. Each Friday I displayed the cake in the morning on a table in front of the class, and everyone tried to guess who would get the cake. Kids really began to notice who was working hard. But even better, they started coming up to me saying, "Miss LaField, what do I need to do to get the cake this week?" Yes, it was expensive to buy a cake every week. And yes, it was a pain to go and buy it on Thursday afternoon. But I was willing to do whatever it took to motivate my students to work hard. Besides a new poster on the wall and a rubber stamp with a chicken that I stamped on great work, I referred to the Little Red Hen often. Many times I would stand in front of my students and ask with good-humored intensity, "Who am I, class?" To which they would loudly respond, "You are the Little Red Hen, Miss LaField." After which I would smile and add something like, "You got that right. So let's get to work." At the end of the day, with a few seconds before the bell, I often praised a particular student for being the Little Red Hen that day. And always, I was very specific about what they had done to receive the praise. My favorite praise was for kids who were showing progress. Kids who were coming from behind. Kids who weren't quitting. Kids with a growth mindset. They never got the cake because they were smart. They got the cake because they worked hard. The last day of school, I wore my red attire and brought enough cake for everyone in the class to enjoy. When everyone was served, I sat down on our risers and read the story for the last time. You could have heard a pin drop. If you go online and Google Olivia LaField Little Red Hen Growth Mindset blog and newsletter, you can see a picture of me reading the story on the last day of school. The article even shows a picture of the cake. Currently, I have the joy of working at a Little Red Hen school. Every student from kindergarten to 8th grade knows the story well. On the last Friday of the month, 2 students from each class who worked hard that month get the honor of celebrating with cake and ice cream in the school cafeteria. I serve the cake, and several staff members and the principal help with the ice cream and taking pictures for our hall bulletin board. From 5 to 14, our Little Red Hens are enjoying the prize that they earned from their dedication to working hard all month long, the real cake. We want our parents to be proud of their children, so all the winners go home with a special certificate emblazoned by a hand-colored rendition of a big red chicken. It goes without saying that our parents love our Little Red Hen focus. I'm hoping you see the beauty of our theme, those who don't work hard in life don't get the cake. It's a breeze to implement, and the kids just love it. It makes school fun. I'm a big proponent of fun, and I believe we should do everything we can to promote a fun learning environment. And 2, we should create unlimited ways to uplift our students and reward their positive progress. Last May, a little second grader stopped me in the hall and said, "Miss LaField, I've never gone to a Little Red Hen party, but this month I'm going to." And guess what? He was there. I just love that. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you'll get my latest video right away. It's your way of supporting our SEL movement and all my hard work and dedication to my channel. I'm so excited also to launch my weekly live stream every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Once that gets going, I'll be able to connect on a very, very personal level with dedicated SEL teachers from all over America and help them with questions and concerns as they create the classrooms of their dreams. Now that will be the cake for sure. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.